Welcome to the Mechanics Library E-Edition. Those of you who have known Mr. Jack for a long time will remember a prior remarkable business enterprise which outdates the library by many years. Stop, you say. Before the library? Yes, before the library was ever dreamed of. Don't say, my friends, you've been so quick to forget. Or perhaps you never had the pleasure of knowing. Well, today, we are thrilled to introduce the first ever Pinecone Shop E-Edition. And now, I will hand you over to Ranger Jack, who will share with you the feature of this edition.
Bristlecone pines, the oldest living things on Earth.
The oldest of which are between 3,000 and 5,000 years old.
And today, we are going to the Bristlecone pines.
Bristlecone pines grow high on the sides of peaks in an environment hostile to most other trees.
Bristlecone pines only grow in a very small area of California. They also grow in Utah and a small portion of Nevada. That is Great Basin National Park. We're going to hike to climb to the top of Wheeler Peak, which is 4 miles long. Wheeler Peak is the second highest peak in Nevada. It's in Great Basin National Park, and we went there to see some bristlecones. And today, we're at the top of Wheeler Peak. Bristlecones don't actually grow at the top, but we couldn't resist going there. Here's a view from the summit. After we hiked the summit, halfway down the mountain, we went to a bristlecone trail. Bristlecones grow on high, dry, windy, rocky sites.
Usually between 10,000 and 11,500 feet.
Sadly, since this was a national park, we could not collect any pine cones. But here's a picture of one from one of our very highly liked resources, Congress of California. And I'm going to share with you some things we learned about the trees. The tree was born in 1230 BC and is still living.
To put that date in context, historians believe the epic Gilgamesh was written in 2100 BC. Jesus was born in about 6 BC. The 10 Commandments were given between the 16th century BC and the 13th century BC, so close to the time that this tree was born. The Trojan War occurred in 1194 BC, so that's also getting kind of close. And the city of Rome was founded in 753 BC. Now, of course, all these dates are approximations. However, we can get a pretty accurate measurement of when the tree was born through several scientific tools, which Jack will explain later. In any event, to put it simply, these trees are old, very old.
This tree had a hard life on nutrient-scarce soil. It has lived for 1,500 years, but has remained standing for centuries afterwards. This 3,000-year-old tree died 250 years ago. It has 2 buttresses.
The one on the left died in 1100 AD, but the other one continued growing for 6 more centuries. That's endurance. How do we know how old these trees are?
This tool is an increment borer. It is used to measure how many rings a tree has and see how old they are.
Scientists also use cross-dating to help date trees.
They can see what years are watery and rainy and which ones are drought years. Because in drought years there's very thin rings. But in rainy years there's very thick rings. The bristlecone is confused with other trees that grow in the exact same climate, namely the limber pine.
Both have branches that look like foxtails and grow needles in sets of 5. But this one, the limber pine, has darker green needles than the bristlecone. The needles of the bristlecone are lighter in color and are more tightly compact. This bristlecone is also a good specimen for identifying the female seed cone and male pollen cone, as depicted here.
This tree is very hard to tell what age it is since it's hollow, but science has estimated 2,000 years. I think that bristlecones are really awesome because they are not all the way alive. Only strips of them that are connected to roots are alive. And they're very old, and it's just so surprising to see like a dead tree with needles.
As you can see, the bristlecone pine is a stunning and enduring species. To conclude this video, we have a few people we'd like to thank. First of all, we are very grateful to the National Park Service for their work preserving the bristlecones and for all the information and displays on the bristlecones that we took advantage of on our walk through the forest. The Bristlecone Pine Interpretive Trail provided by the National Park Service provided much of the content which appears in this video. Our other main source for this e-edition was Conifers of California, an extremely insightful book detailing all the conifers that grow in our great state, including the bristlecone pine.
We hope you enjoy the Bristlecones of Great Basin National Park.
Brought to you by the Pinecone Shop e-edition.
Thank you for watching this edition.